Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
Have you ever noticed how simply doing right can make others uneasy? How shining a little brighter than expected can stir up hate you never asked for? And how sometimes, without taking anything from them, your very presence becomes the reminder of what they could have been? The truth is, you don't have to do anything wrong to be disliked. All you did was walk into the room with light, and that light exposed the darkness they were trying to hide. Some people secretly hate you because your discipline reflects their laziness. Your courage uncovers their fear. Your progress whispers, "This could have been you." Instead of changing direction, they change their opinion of you. Instead of facing failure, they create a false image of you to soothe themselves. They don't see your heart, they see your results. And those results remind them, you kept moving while they stayed stuck. It's not your fault you endured the betrayal, the tears, and the wounds, yet still lifted your head high. But many can't stand to watch, because they remember when you both started in the same place. You might have shared pain, loss, or even a broken home, but what you did with your wounds made all the difference. You got up, they stayed down. You healed, they hid. You trusted God, they trusted excuses. And now, without saying a word, your life preaches a sermon to theirs. Every time you walk with integrity, they feel judged. Every time you smile in peace, they feel chaos inside. Every step you take forward reminds them of the years they stood still. And instead of letting the truth change them, they let it twist them into jealousy, into resentment, into quiet hatred. People hate what they fear, and they fear what they don't understand. They don't understand how you keep rising when life keeps knocking you down. They don't understand how you keep forgiving those who tried to destroy you. They don't understand how you stay kind in a world that gave you every reason to grow bitter. Instead of learning from your example, they shut down and look for ways to tear you apart. But don't let it change you. Don't dim your light just to make the dark more comfortable. Don't apologize for growing. Don't hide your gifts because they make others feel small. God didn't raise you to shrink. He didn't give you strength to stay silent. And He didn't bring you this far for you to start tiptoeing around insecure people. Your presence will disturb those who've settled. Your growth will offend those who've given up. Your boldness will irritate the timid. And your success will provoke those who only wanted you to survive, not thrive. Let them feel what they need to feel. You keep shining. You keep moving, because your life was never meant to be background music for someone else's comfort. They didn't see the nights you prayed through tears. They didn't see the days you felt abandoned by everyone but God. They don't know the pressure you carry just to keep moving. So if they hate you for the crown you wear now, let them hate, because you paid for that crown in pain they never witnessed. You earned it in battles they never had the faith to fight. You don't owe anyone a dimmed version of yourself. If your light bothers them, that's between them and their own darkness. If your wins make them uncomfortable, it's because deep down they knew they had the same opportunity, but they let fear win. You didn't, and you won't, because you're not walking in pride, you're walking in purpose. And when people hate you for that, you don't fight back. You don't match their bitterness. You don't waste time explaining yourself to small minds. You just keep shining, because your light was never made to fit, it was made to lead. So keep shining. Let them talk. Let them hate. Your reward isn't in their applause, it's in your obedience. Some people don't hate you because you've done something wrong. They hate you because you've done something right. They don't despise your mistakes. They despise your victories. Where they stumbled, you stood. The doors that shut in their face, you walked through. And instead of asking how you made it or being inspired by your resilience, they chose bitterness. That's what envy does. It doesn't clap when you win. It doesn't cheer when you rise. It hides in silence, watching your success while secretly hoping you'll fall. You never asked for this kind of attention. You weren't chasing applause or approval. You simply chose to grow. You decided you wouldn't stay stuck, you wouldn't play the victim, and you wouldn't let your past pain write the future. You got up when others stayed down. That courage cost you something: comfort, relationships, and the exposure of hidden resentment from those who never thought you'd rise. Your life became a reminder of what they could have been. That's the truth most won't admit. Your strength exposes their excuses. Your progress highlights their procrastination. Your joy unsettles their bitterness. That's why hate isn't always loud. It doesn't always show up in arguments or confrontation. Sometimes it's in the distance they create, the invitations that stop, the silence when your name comes up. That's hate dressed in quiet. And you must see this clearly. People will always secretly hate what they don't understand and what reminds them of their unhealed wounds. But their hate is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their brokenness. Don't take it personally when people pull away. Don't shrink to make them feel tall. Don't dim your light just to make them comfortable in the dark. If God gave you light, let it shine, even if it blinds those who've chosen to live in shadows. Because there will always be someone watching your life like a mirror, searching for a crack to criticize, a flaw to magnify, or a mistake to highlight. Don't give your focus to that. The higher you climb, the more visible you become. And not everyone watching from the ground is clapping. Some are just waiting for you to fall. But don't stop climbing. Don't stop building. Don't stop becoming who God called you to be, even if it makes others uncomfortable. This is for the one who's been wounded by quiet hatred. The one who thought they were loved, only to realize they were merely tolerated. The one who shared their dreams with people who secretly hoped they would never succeed. Hear this clearly. What God started in you, no hate can stop, no jealousy can block, no resentment can reverse. When God lifts you, no man can bring you down. So stop worrying about who likes you and who doesn't. You weren't created to blend in. You were created to stand out. You weren't made to be accepted by everyone. You were chosen by the one who made you. If the price of shining is secret hatred, so be it. If the price of growth is isolation, then walk alone. What's ahead is far too important to let whispers behind you hold you back. You're not competing with them. You're not running their race. You're not building their future. You're building yours. And as long as you stay faithful, keep walking in truth, and guard your heart against bitterness, you'll be just fine. So when you sense that silent tension, when you notice quiet exits, when you see the shift in people's eyes, don't panic. Don't retaliate. Don't chase explanations. Some hate is hidden because it's rooted in insecurity. Many aren't even mad at you. They're mad at themselves. You're just the mirror that reminds them of everything they buried. But you were never born to carry other people's resentment. You were born to carry purpose. Stand tall. Keep moving. Let your life speak louder than their silence. Because there's something powerful about a person who no longer needs to be seen to feel valuable. When you reach the place where you no longer chase approval, no longer crave applause, and no longer measure your worth by likes, compliments, or recognition, something shifts deep within you. And let me tell you, that shift never goes unnoticed. The moment you stop seeking validation, some will begin to look at you with quiet hatred. Nothing unsettles insecure people more than someone secure in who they are. There are people who only feel at peace when they're needed, when you lean on them for approval, when your decisions are shaped by their opinions. But the moment you begin walking in confidence, not arrogance, not pride, but steady, holy confidence, it shakes their foundation. They thought they were your anchor, your compass. Now you've stopped asking for permission. You no longer rely on their praise to feel worthy, and that terrifies them. Understand this. God never intended for you to spend your life chasing the applause of people. You weren't created to wonder, do they like me? Do they support me? Do they see what I'm doing? No, you were called to live from inner assurance. Even if no one claps, you keep going. Even if no one says thank you, you stay faithful. Even if they walk away, you keep building. Because your purpose isn't tied to human approval. It's rooted in something higher, something eternal. But here's the danger. That kind of freedom threatens those still living in chains. When you stop performing for others, you expose the weakness of the system they built their identity on. And instead of being inspired to break free, they'll try to pull you back into the box where they remain. They'll throw labels at you. Cold, prideful, hard to reach. But the truth is, you've simply stopped living to entertain their expectations. You've learned the difference between pleasing people and obeying the call on your life. You've chosen obedience over popularity, and that's a choice not everyone will understand. Don't be surprised when the same people who once praised you begin to resent you. Don't be shocked when those who once called you humble now whisper that you've changed. Because yes, you have changed. You've grown. You've healed. You've stopped searching for your identity in others and started standing on your own 2 feet. And not everyone will celebrate that kind of transformation. Some will secretly hate you, not because you wronged them, but because you rose above the place they hoped you'd stay forever. When you no longer need their approval, you become unpredictable. You become untouchable in the best way. You're no longer swayed by their silence or guilt by their disapproval. You're no longer dancing to their tune. And that is where true strength begins, not in rebellion, but in quiet resolve. Not in loud defiance, but in steady direction. You're not bitter. You're not angry. You're simply done performing for people who never clapped from the heart. The deeper truth is this. Some will secretly hate you because your self-worth no longer serves their ego. They can't make you small to feel big. They can't feed off your insecurity to cover their own. And when they realize their opinions no longer control your peace, they lose their grip, not only on you, but on the illusion they held all along. Deep down, you already know this. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need every hand on your shoulder. You don't need to be invited, applauded, or affirmed to be effective, faithful, and whole. Because when you walk in purpose, the right people will find you, and the wrong ones will reveal themselves. And sometimes their silence is the clearest sign you're finally walking in the right direction. So walk on. There's a silent hatred that creeps into the hearts of those who once called you friend. Not because you wronged them, not because you changed for the worse, but simply because you finally said no. Some people only loved you as long as you were useful. Answering the phone when they needed, sacrificing your peace so they could stay comfortable, pouring from your cup even when yours was empty. They clapped while you gave. They smiled while you served. But the moment you drew a boundary, they vanished, or worse, they turned against you. People don't always hate you for the wrong you've done. Sometimes they hate you because you stopped giving them what they never deserved. You were the shoulder they cried on, the bank they borrowed from, the voice that encouraged them. But when the time came for them to stand with you, they were nowhere to be found. And when you saw the pattern, when you gathered your strength and finally chose yourself, their tone shifted. Suddenly you were labeled cold, selfish, distant. But hear this clearly, they never loved you. They loved what you did for them. The deepest pain comes in realizing some only clapped for you when your hands were working for them. The wound comes when you see your kindness was consumed, not cherished. And the hardest truth? When you stop being used, you may lose people you thought would stand with you forever. But that is not a loss, it's a rescue. Those who disappear when your boundaries appear were never truly with you. They were with your benefits, your yes, your constant availability. Real love, real friendship, real community shows up when you have nothing left to give. True love doesn't flinch at the sound of no. It doesn't vanish when you stop overextending. True love listens, understands, and adjusts. But fake love? It throws tantrums. It guilt trips. It turns cold and cruel because it lost control. Sometimes people secretly hate you because your strength exposes their entitlement. Your firmness makes them feel weak. Your choice to rest makes them question why they're still striving. Your no forces them to face the truth that they depended on your brokenness to keep themselves whole. And so their response becomes hate. They can't admit they were wrong, so they call you wrong for changing. But don't bend. Don't apologize for protecting your peace. Don't feel guilty for healing. You are not cruel. You are courageous. It takes courage to stop enabling people who never lifted you. It takes strength to stop showing up for those who ignored you while you were sinking. It takes spiritual maturity to release relationships built on one-sided sacrifice. You were not born to be drained. You were not called to be walked on. Your purpose is not to be a permanent crutch for people with no intention of standing on their own. Your calling is greater than being someone's emotional punching bag, someone's financial backup, someone's last-minute rescue. You are made for more. And the moment you step into that more, don't be surprised when some faces fade. Don't be shocked when affection turns to avoidance. Don't be discouraged when those you thought loved you begin to resent you. That's not rejection, it's revelation. God allows people to reveal their true colors when the stage of your life changes. You may have been a character in their story, but they were never meant to remain in yours. And when their role expires, let them go. Let them talk. Let them hate. Let them assume. The truth still stands, even when lies surround it. And here's the truth. You were never wrong for choosing yourself. When you stop allowing yourself to be used, you begin aligning with what's true, what's pure, what's holy. And those who secretly hate you for it, they were never meant to walk into your future. They were only holding on to your past. Let them go and walk forward in peace. Some of the hardest things to accept in life aren't the storms you see coming, but the silent tensions that creep in without warning. One moment you're walking side by side with someone, and the next there's a strange distance in their eyes. They stop clapping when you win. They avoid your good news, and the very people who once encouraged you now look for ways to diminish what you've become. Why? Because you're growing and they're stuck. Growth doesn't require an announcement. You don't have to post about it or preach about it. Just your progress alone is enough to stir emotions in those who once saw you as equal or even beneath them. When you rise, you become a living reminder of every excuse they made, every delay they justified, every opportunity they let slip. Suddenly, your discipline looks like arrogance. Your consistency feels like a threat. Your new standards sound like judgment, even if you've said nothing at all. But here's the truth. Your growth isn't the problem. Their stagnation is. You were never meant to stay where you started. Life is motion. Faith is a journey. Purpose demands change. The more you step into who God created you to be, the more uncomfortable it becomes for those who choose to remain in their comfort zones. And often, instead of rising with you, they'll try to pull you back down where they feel safe. The truth is, some people liked you better when you were broken. They found comfort in your confusion because it made their own lack of direction less obvious. They cheered for you when you were struggling because your struggle validated theirs. But the moment you began to rise, to heal, to speak and move differently, something shifted. And it wasn't you who changed for the worse. It was their perception of you that shifted because their position never moved. When people get used to seeing you down, they don't know how to handle your rise. They built a version of you that fit their comfort zone, and now that you no longer fit that mold, they call you distant, changed, fake, or even disloyal. But the truth is, you're not prideful. You've simply become aware of what God placed within you, and you're finally walking in it. That awareness offends those still asleep to their own calling. And sometimes the deepest betrayal doesn't come from enemies. It comes from friends who can't celebrate your freedom. They'll smile in public, but secretly compete in private. They'll ask how you're doing, but never truly listen. They'll congratulate you through gritted teeth, secretly hoping you slow down, convincing themselves you don't deserve the progress you've made. But hear this clearly. Don't stop growing just because it makes others uncomfortable. Don't dim your light because it exposes someone else's shadows. You are not responsible for their choice to remain idle. You are responsible for honoring the calling God placed on your life. And no matter who walks away, who talks, or who begins to hate you in silence, keep going. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, you'll wonder why people you love can suddenly turn cold. But their reaction is not your reflection. Their bitterness is not your burden. Their jealousy is not your fault. You've simply become the mirror they've avoided for too long, and they're not ready to face what it shows. So keep walking. Keep building. Keep becoming. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. But keep moving forward, because the only thing worse than being hated for growing is being loved for staying the same. And if the road feels lonely, remember, you're not walking in circles, you're walking in purpose. Not everyone will have the strength, the faith, or the humility to go with you. When you walk into a room, you don't need to announce who you are. You don't need to explain your values or showcase your success. Your presence, your peace, your focus, your direction, all of it speaks louder than words. And sometimes it speaks into places people haven't healed yet. You're not trying to offend, not trying to outshine, but there will be people who quietly hate you, not because of what you've done, but because of what you represent. You become a living reminder of what they lost, ignored, or fear they'll never become. Some fight hidden battles with insecurity. They may smile, congratulate, even compliment you, but deep down your confidence convicts them. Your stability unsettles them. Your quiet strength whispers into their chaos, showing there's more to life than the mess they've made. And instead of facing their fear, regret, or laziness, they turn on you. Not always with words. Sometimes with silence. Sometimes with sarcasm. Sometimes with distance. Their hatred isn't loud. It hides behind jealousy, behind passive remarks, behind selective support. You become a target not because you did something wrong, but because you stopped living broken the way they expected. The moment you start growing, stop gossiping, choose solitude over drama, and purpose over popularity, you'll begin to lose people who were never truly clapping for you. They were only keeping score. The second you step out of their cycle of insecurity, the moment you stop needing them to feel okay, they begin to resent you for existing beyond their control. Remember this. People are not always angry at you. They are angry at themselves. When they see you walking free, they are reminded of the prison they built with their own hands. That's where the hatred comes from. And you don't need to say a word. You don't have to argue or prove anything. Simply living in your purpose, being who God called you to be, is enough to make others uncomfortable if they haven't answered their own call. In this world, you will be hated for things you never even did. You'll be hated for not being what people expected. You'll be hated for walking in grace when they expected you to stumble in disgrace. But you can't shrink just to make others feel taller. You can't dim the light God placed in you simply because others choose to remain in the dark. When your spirit is steady, your heart clear, and your intentions pure, everything false around you will naturally be exposed. That's why some people pull away. That's why others try to tear you down, because your life becomes the standard they no longer reach. You are the evidence that excuses don't hold, the proof that healing is real, and that truth unsettles those who made pain their identity. You don't have to apologize for your growth. You don't have to explain your peace. And you certainly don't have to justify your transformation, because what God is doing in you was never meant for their comfort. It's for His glory. If someone can't celebrate that, if they can't handle who you are becoming, then they were never meant to walk with you on this journey. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them distance themselves, because you weren't created to fit into fragile expectations. You were made to rise, to break chains, and to walk boldly in the identity heaven gave you. So keep moving forward, keep growing strong. In the end, it's not the hatred of people that defines you, but the favor of God that sustains you. I wish you all abundant health, lasting happiness, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.